Today we'll be installing the latest cold shrink products from Burndy. Before we start, let's make sure we have the right connection or sleeve for the job. This install will be done using our CSUDO 15210J termination kit, which is rated for both indoor and outdoor applications. This series is also for bare and jacketed concentric neutral power cables. For the connector, we'll be using a Burndy YA26A3 2-hole NEMA connector for the termination. We will be installing this termination on a 2-aught 5 kV jacketed concentric neutral conductor. What do we mean by jacketed concentric neutral conductor? If you look at the layers of the conductor, you'll see that in this case, it has an outer jacket, then individual concentric neutral, insulation shield, insulation, conductor shield, then finally the conductor. First, I'd like to talk about the different components of the kit. You'll have your cold shrink termination sleeve that is expanded over the plastic easy ripcord that is now recyclable. One feature on the sleeve that makes the Burndy system easy to install is its integrated mastic lining that is installed at the factory on both ends of the termination. This high-performance Burndy high-seal mastic makes installation easier and ensures a very high-quality consistent termination. You'll have a piece of the moisture-sealing mastic. You'll have an electrical-grade tape. You'll have a solvent wipe kit. An installation guide and cutback template will also be included. Using your Burndy installation guide, it is recommended to taking the time reading through and highlighting pertinent information for your specific installation to ensure proper cutback lengths for each layer. Determine the proper lengths of cutoffs for each layer of the conductor to ensure a proper install, and for your mastic that is inside the tube, sit correctly at those critical locations. Please make sure you carefully go through step by step with your installation guide. Installing the sleeve. Mark the jacket to the predetermined measurement according to the instructions. Look at the thickness of the jacket to be removed at the end of the cable. Use specialized insulation removal tools to remove the jacket. Next, we'll install the mastic. We need to apply 1 wrap of red sealant at the jacket cutback under the wires. Make sure you cut the mastic. Fold back wires and press the wires into the sealant, making sure that the wires are spaced apart evenly and do not cross one another. For the specific sizes, you may need to add additional mastic to reduce transition from the conductor and insulation. This is due to the thickness of the insulation and the size of the conductor. This makes a more uniform diameter for the cold shrink to shrink down to. Using the electrical tape provided with the kit, apply 2 layers of tape directly over the constant force spring, so this will cover any sharp edges that the braid may have. Remove the semicon with a specialized insulation removal tool. Consult lug installation instructions to obtain the wire strip length and cutback dimensions. Mark the location of the insulation cutback accordingly using an electrician's knife. Remove the excess insulation to the conductor. Install the connector per the Burndy crimp guide. Select the appropriate die style to match the installation tool. Insert the dies into the tool. Place the connector between the installed dies. Use the color stripes as a guide for crimp placement. Refer to the Burndy Master Catalog for required amount of crimps, depending on tool and die selected. Wipe the insulation beginning at the semicon without touching the semicon towards the terminal. If any excess particles are left behind, tracking could take place as the connection is energized. Be sure not to touch the semicon or any wiped areas that could be contaminated from oils or dust. This is imperative. Next, take the cold shrink sleeve and position the sleeve with the sheds or skirts towards the end of the termination. Gently pull the ripcord as the sleeve is lined up to the edge of the marker tape, slightly turning the shrink tubing as it begins to shrink down. Take your time at the beginning of the shrinking process. You can overlap a little over the PVC tape and pull so the shrunk tube sits firmly to the edge of the tape. Continue to pull the ripcord to complete the shrink. You will notice that near the termination, there may be gaps as it looks as though it will not seal. After a few minutes, it will compress down and create a watertight seal. If you feel more comfortable, you can squeeze it. Lastly, gather all neutrals and insert into desired connector for grounding. That completes our installation of the CSUDO medium voltage cold shrink kits. For more information, visit burndy.com. Thank you.